Hello everyone and welcome back to the show. We are really glad you're here with us today. We have a topic that trips up even confident English writers. These two words look almost identical. They sound identical when you say them out loud, but they mean completely different things, and they are used in completely different situations.
That is right. Today we are talking about principle and principle. Spelled differently, same pronunciation, totally different meanings. This is what is called a homophone pair. Two words that sound the same but have different spellings and different meanings. And mixing them up is one of the most common spelling and grammar mistakes in English.
We're going to cover what each word means, how to use them in sentences, all their different uses and contexts, the memory tricks that will help you never confuse them again, the most common mistakes learners and even native speakers make, two real conversations, and a quiz at the end. Stay with us all the way through.
Let us start with principle. Principle is always a noun. It's never an adjective, and it's never used to describe a person in a job title. A principle is a rule, a belief, a standard, or a fundamental truth that guides behavior or thinking. It's about values, morals, laws of nature, and basic truths.
Think about the principles you live by, the things you believe are right and wrong, the values that guide your decisions. These are your principles. A person who refuses to lie even when it would be easier is a person of principle. They have strong moral principles.
Some examples of principle in sentences. She has always lived by the principle that honesty is the best policy. The teacher explained the basic principles of mathematics. The experiment was based on the principle that heat causes expansion. He refused to accept the bribe on principle, meaning because of his values and beliefs.
More examples. The principle of equality means that everyone deserves the same rights. The company was founded on the principles of fairness and respect. In science, a principle is a fundamental truth or law. The principle of gravity, the principle of conservation of energy. In ethics and philosophy, principles are the foundational rules that govern what is right.
Principle also appears in the phrase in principle. In principle means in theory, or as a general idea, even if the details haven't been worked out yet. In principle, I agree with your plan, but I need to see the details first. We have agreed in principle to a partnership, but nothing is finalized. This is a very common and useful phrase.
So, to summarize principle, it is always a noun. It means a rule, a belief, a fundamental truth, or a guiding standard. It relates to values, morals, science, and philosophy. It answers the question, what do you believe in, or what is the basic rule?
Now let us talk about principle. Principle is more flexible. It can be a noun or an adjective. And this is where learners need to pay careful attention because the word does two different jobs depending on how it's used.
As an adjective, principle means main, most important, or primary. It's describing something as the chief or leading thing. The principal reason for the delay was bad weather. Her principal concern was the safety of her team. The principal ingredient in this recipe is flour. In all of these uses, principal means the main one, the most important one.
More examples of principle as an adjective. The principal character in the novel is a young doctor. The principal goal of the project is to reduce costs. His principal objection was about timing, not about the idea itself. The country's principal export is oil. Every time you see principal used this way, it means main or most important.
Now, as a noun, principal refers to a person in a position of leadership or authority. The most common use is the head of a school. In American English, the person who runs a school is called the principal. The principal of the school announced the new rules. The students were sent to the principal's office.
In British English, the head of a school is more commonly called the head teacher, but principal is also used, especially for colleges and universities. The principal of the college addressed the new students. In some countries and institutions, principal is the standard title for the head of an educational institution at all levels.
Principal as a noun also appears in legal and financial contexts. In finance, a principal is the original amount of money borrowed or invested before interest is added. She paid off the principal of her loan in 5 years. The interest is calculated on the remaining principal. In a business or legal context, a principal is a person who has the highest authority or is the main party in a transaction or agreement.
So, to summarize principal, as an adjective, it means main or most important. As a noun, it refers to a person in charge, especially a school head, or an original sum of money in finance, or a lead performer, or the main party in a legal agreement.
Now, here's the memory trick that most people help, and once you hear it, you'll probably never mix these two words up again. Principle ends in PLE. Think of the word rule. Both principle and rule end with an E sound, and both are about rules, values, and beliefs. Principle equals rule.
For principal, think about the phrase, the principal is your pal. That little rhyme helps you remember that principal with an A at the end refers to a person, specifically the person in charge of a school who is your pal. The principal is your pal. Principal equals a person or main thing.
Now let's look at how these words appear in different everyday contexts, because seeing them in real situations is what makes the difference between knowing the rule and actually using the words confidently.
In education, the principal of the school gave a speech at graduation. The principal announced that the school would close early on Friday. The new principal has introduced several interesting changes to the curriculum. These all use principal as a noun, meaning the head of the school.
Still in education, but now using principle. The school is built on the principle that every student deserves individual attention. The teacher explained the principle behind long division. Understanding the underlying principles of grammar will help you use the language correctly. Here, principle is about rules, foundations, and guiding ideas.
In business and finance, the company's principal shareholder voted against the merger. The principal amount of the loan must be repaid within 10 years. Her principal responsibility in the company is managing client relationships. Interest payments are separate from the principal. These all use principal correctly, either as an adjective meaning main or as a noun in the financial sense.
Still in business, but using principle. The company operates on the principle of transparency with its clients. She refused the deal on principle because she felt it was unethical. The principles of good management include clear communication and respect for employees. Here, principle is about values, ethics, and foundational beliefs.
Now let us talk about mistakes, because these are the errors that come up constantly, and understanding them will really sharpen your accuracy.
Mistake number 1. Writing principal when you mean the head of a school. This is probably the single most common mistake with these two words. Someone writes, "The principal called my parents." That is wrong. The person in charge of the school is the principal. The correct sentence is, "The principal called my parents."
Mistake number 2, writing principle when you mean a rule or value. Someone writes, "He acted according to his principles." That is wrong. His values and beliefs are his principles. The correct sentence is, "He acted according to his principles." Whenever you are talking about morals, values, or rules, the word is always principle.
Mistake number 3. Forgetting that principle is only ever a noun. Some learners try to use principle as an adjective. They might write, "She is the principal reason for the success." That is wrong. When you mean main or most important, the word is principal. The correct sentence is, "She is the principal reason for the success."
Mistake number 4, confusing the financial use of principal with principal. Someone might write, "The principal of the loan has been reduced." That is wrong. The original sum of money is the principal. The correct sentence is, "The principal of the loan has been reduced."
Mistake number 5. Using principle in the phrase "in principle." Some people write, "In principle, I agree with you." That is wrong. The correct phrase is "in principle." In principle means in theory or as a general idea. Always use principle with an E at the end in this phrase.
Mistake number 6, thinking these words only come up in formal or academic writing. Both principle and principle appear in everyday conversations, emails, news articles, and casual speech. He is a man of principle. She is the principal dancer. These are everyday uses, and being confident with both words will improve your English in all kinds of situations.
6 mistakes and 6 clear corrections. These are the exact errors that trip people up, and now you know how to avoid every single one of them.
Now let us hear two short conversations so you can see these words used naturally.
First conversation. Two parents talking after a school meeting.
Did you speak to anyone at the school about the new timetable?
Yes, I managed to have a quick word with the principal after the meeting. She explained the reasoning behind the changes.
And what did she say? I could not stay late to speak with her myself.
She said the principal reason for the change was to give students more time for independent study in the afternoons. She also mentioned that the school is built on the principle that students learn better when they have ownership of their own time.
That makes sense. I've always believed in that principle too. Did she seem approachable? I've never spoken to the principal directly before.
Very approachable, actually. I think the principal has a very clear set of principles about how a school should be run, and it comes through in how she speaks.
Did you notice? Principal was used correctly as a noun for the school head, as an adjective meaning main, and principle was used correctly for the guiding beliefs and values. Both words appeared naturally in the same short conversation.
Second conversation. Two colleagues discussing a business proposal.
Have you reviewed the contract from the new partner?
I've had a look. The principal concern I have is the repayment schedule for the principal. The load amount is quite large, and the timeline feels rushed.
I agree. But in principle, the partnership makes sense for both companies. We just need to negotiate better terms.
Absolutely. The other thing I want to flag is that one of the principal clauses in the contract goes against our company's core principles around data privacy. That needs to be changed before we sign anything.
Good catch. We should never compromise on that principle. I'll flag it to the legal team today.
That conversation showed principle as an adjective, meaning main, principle as a noun in the financial sense, meaning the loan amount, in principle as a phrase meaning in theory, and principle as a noun meaning a core value. All four uses in one short, realistic conversation.
Quiz time. 5 sentences. Decide if each one is correct or incorrect. If incorrect, think about the right version. Take a moment before we give each answer.
Sentence 1. The principal of the school announced the new policy.
Take a moment. This is incorrect. The person in charge of the school is the principal, not the principal. The correct sentence is, the principal of the school announced the new policy.
Sentence 2. She refused to accept the money on principle.
This is correct. On principle means because of her values and beliefs. Principle is always the right word when talking about morals, values, and rules.
Sentence 3. His principal objection was about the cost of the project.
This is incorrect. Here the word is being used as an adjective meaning main or most important. Principal is never an adjective. The correct sentence is, his principal objection was about the cost of the project.
Sentence 4. In principle, we support the idea, but we need more information.
This is correct. In principle is a fixed phrase, meaning in theory or as a general idea. It always uses principle with an E at the end.
Sentence 5. The scientist explained the principles behind the experiment.
This is incorrect. The fundamental truths and rules behind an experiment are principles. Principles refers to people in authority or main parties. The correct sentence is, the scientist explained the principles behind the experiment.
How did you do? 5 out of 5 means you've genuinely understood both words. If you got some wrong, that's completely fine. Use the memory tricks, review the examples, and try again.
Now let us finish with a clean summary. Principle is always a noun. It means a rule, a belief, a fundamental truth, or a guiding standard. It's about values, morals, and basic laws of nature and thinking. Remember, principle equals rule. Both end with a similar sound.
Principal is an adjective meaning main or most important. It's also a noun meaning the head of a school, a lead performer, or the main party in a legal agreement. Remember, the principal is your pal, and principal means main.
The one test you can always use. Can you replace the word with main or most important? If yes, use principle. Can you replace the word with rule or belief? If yes, use principle. That single test will get you right almost every time.
And that's everything for today. We really hope this episode gave you total clarity and confidence with principle and principle. These words appear everywhere in education, business, finance, science, and everyday writing. Getting them right makes a real difference to how professional and accurate your English sounds.
Your practice task. Write 4 sentences, one using principle as an adjective, one using principle as a noun for a person, one using principle as a noun for a value, and one using the phrase in principle. That covers the most important uses from today.
Leave your questions in the comments. We love hearing from our listeners, and we will always do our best to answer.
Share this episode with someone who is learning English or with someone who confuses these 2 words. You might be surprised how many people appreciate the reminder, including native speakers.
Take care of yourself. Keep practicing, and remember that every small improvement in your writing and speaking builds into something really significant over time.
We'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, and well done for being here today. Keep going.